2, 3.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Plastic Adventures Podcast Split Screen Edition. I am Steve, coming to you from the most depressing room in my house, the storage room where my toys are in jail. And on the other screen is Doug.
Hi.
In front of all of his awesome shit. So, yeah, let's get rocking and rolling on this thing, man.
Yeah, let's do it. So, I am newsless. I have nothing to report.
Yeah, it was a really dry week this week. But I do actually, I have 4 items to report. I was just thinking that I had 3 not too long ago, but the first thing that kind of got me really excited was that our own plastic ninja Bryson uncovered the latest wave of the Marvel retros, the little 5-inch 5 POA retro figures.
I saw that he found those on the Facebook group.
Yeah. He picked them up at Target in Kennewick. They had 2 sets, and this is the set of characters that features like Phoenix. I want to say it's Mr. Fantastic, but the 2 highlights are are Venom and Brown Suit Wolverine.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting. They have not popped at my secret Target yet, but secret Target's been very fruitful in other ways. So I forgive secret Target for not having those yet.
Yeah, if I came across a Venom or that Wolverine, those would be another 2 that I would have to get from that.
Yeah, they're both joining the collection, and the Wolverine is essentially the same that from my show and tell that I did 1 or 2 times ago, where he came with Phoenix in that 2-pack. So very, very cool sculpt, and he's squatty and short, just like Wolverine
As should be.
Yeah, but it's brown suit deco, which is pretty cool too. And the Venom just looks like a really cool low detail 5 POA Venom figure.
90s Venom.
Yeah. So I'm pretty jazzed. I know that we're going to start seeing them soon. So that was a really good find by Bryson, and it slipped by me. I've been so doggone busy at work, I just didn't see that post. But I thought that was
doing other things lately. You've been doing more, grown up adult type things, and so the hobby has to take a back seat for a little bit.
So someone said to me, "Oh, who looks like a new sheriff is in town." And I'm like, well, yeah, that would be nice, but I feel a lot more like the guy who shovels the poop out of the stable, not the sheriff. That's what my job is. I'm a pooper scooper.
The higher up you go, the more crap you got to clean.
Yeah. I'm not the membership doesn't come with the privileges you think. Still fun though. Really good crew of people. I'm really, really glad that I made the move to take this place over. It's
right on.
It's been a lot of fun so far. Just challenging. But that's not toy news at all. The other item that I wanted to mention is that the 3-0 dropped the Roadblock figure from G.I. Joe that they're working on.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did point that out before.
Dude, that is a serious piece of action figure right there.
He looks good.
Yeah,
really good. Man, the detail, like the cloth and everything on him doesn't look like it's like larger pieces of cloth cut to fit on a smaller figure like some of them are. These look really good.
Yeah, and I mean we saw the Snake Eyes several weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And it's like they're taking these iconic versions of the character. So this is Roadblock version 2, with that cool kind of like green vest and the white
red
shirt,
shoulder, and
and they add just enough to it. So like there's some added detail and grenades, but he just looks badass. And how much did we figure out these things are going to be? Like $150 or something? It's some ridiculously high number like
it's that. To be expected, I guess, these days.
Yeah, I know. And I like to say in today's money, but in yesterday's money, that's still a shitload of money for a G.I. Joe doll. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there are people who have been collecting these things for a long time. And then, there's different levels of collectors, the high-end collectors, and then there's the bottom feeder collectors. And then there's people like us who are somewhere in between. And then it's like the high-end collectors are even starting to go, whoa, hold on, these are getting a little bit expensive.
Those look awesome. Ooh. But who was it that did some 12-inch scale figures a while ago? Was it Sideshow? Where they were like these ultra modern designs, and you had just like this like grizzled looking Duke, and you had Cobra Commander.
It would have to be Sideshow. I can't think of any other.
I think it was, and they looked insane. And I think those figures were $200 or $300 a piece back then. This would have been like 5-6 years ago.
Well, that would make a lot of sense.
They're
Oh
pretty
yeah,
awesome.
I see these. Yeah,
yeah, you see what I'm saying? I think they did like a Cobra Soldier, Duke, Beachhead, Snake Eyes. I don't remember if Lady J was in there or Baroness, but they were incredible.
Look at this guy. Yeah.
Oh my God, the magic of Zoom. That's it. Yeah, I mean, take a
look
look
how
at that.
beautiful he is.
Yeah, they're gorgeous, and they were very, very pricey for the time. And that head sculpt on Duke is like really Kurt Russell-y. You know, like he has a flat top. It's not like that strange, just oddly curved. You don't know whether that was flat top or combed hair that Duke used to have. And they've even made it like
back
even
hair,
more,
like bullet hair.
even more like ambiguous in the recent toys that are coming. The Super 7 Ultimate and the oh gosh, that retro 5 points of articulation.
Which those look good too, though. I mean,
they do.
So,
They do. That's what I'm going to be sticking with. That's
right
that's
now. Any Joe that we can get that's kind of in the retro flavor is good Joe.
Yeah. Walmart had their collector con thing, and they finally released some package shots. So we got to see Lady J and the Baroness, but now I guess some package shots of Destro have escaped out there, and
Nice.
Gung Ho. So finally, I mean, I guess we knew what they looked like when Lightning struck a few months ago.
Yep.
And we got them before the production crew got them. Twice found them in Hermiston too. Anyways, that's not what we're talking about. So 3-0, yet another amazing figure that they're coming out with, and there's somebody out there that's going to love them and want to buy them.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to see people's reviews of those.
Yeah. So in less toy and more toy entertainment news, it was reported that we got 3 studios bidding on Voltron now, the live action adaptation.
I think that's good.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. You know, we got Power Rangers a few years ago.
Yeah, to the 2017.
Yeah, and I'm not a Power Ranger guy. I think I put it on TV and had it kind of in the background at some point when I was doing something. And even at the time, you know, that I think that we were kind of good enough that we could get Voltron. It's got to be a good story though. And I mean, after that animated series on Netflix, boy, that's a great show.
It was a great show.
Yeah. So if we can get the story right, as long as this isn't like some a Pacific Rim kaiju wank kind of no story type of a thing, then I think
it's just big robots fighting big monsters. Yeah, we don't need that.
Well, and Pacific Rim's really dumb. The acting was horrible. There's no real story, and it just like, I know a lot of the sci-fi you suspend disbelief, but I thought that both of those movies were just stupid as hell. And that guy that plays Finn, John Boyega,
yeah,
he just proved that his range is very limited.
Yeah, but you know what? When you go and you think about that, it's pretty sad that when an '80s movie like Robot Jocks has more story than Pacific Rim.
They had to. They didn't have an effects budget.
But it was a sad story. It was no good, but it was still a story nonetheless. And,
yeah, it was
better than Pacific Rim. So
most definitely, it's like Pacific Rim job. That's kind of how I see that. It was spectacle and it was popcorn, and a lot of people watched it and were like entertained by it for an hour and then forgot it 15 minutes later. So
it's typical flashbang Hollywood these days, right? It's lots of lights, lots of sounds, looks really kind of flashy, but there's really no substance behind it. So
yeah, I was really surprised it got a sequel, but here we are.
Yeah.
But good news. So what that really probably means is that when this thing hits, we're going to get new style Voltron toys, and then maybe some stuff for the old school collectors.
If they go by any kind of pattern, we probably will. I mean, yeah. A lot of the franchises do that, right? They release, they kind of focus on whatever's the big thing for them at the moment, but then they kind of off to the side go, oh, and here's a little something for the OG fans, here's
Yeah, the last series did it. The last series of toys, they had the classic like 84 lions. You could get a set and build yourself like a 13-inch, Voltron with the classic lions. It was really cool. And had I not had the Matchbox reissue at the time, I probably would have bought it. But then I ended up getting that super duper cool Voltron that the pilots fit into. And I was so excited to have that.
And they still had their plastic cockpits. So that was good.
Yeah. I'm buying that thing with all the clear cockpits intact and getting the pilots. Boy, that was enough for me. But it does kind of remind you of where we were at technology wise in the 80s. I think they were just like, get this effing toy out now.
Yeah.
Skip the detail. Oh, his head's too small. Oh, who cares? The kids don't care. Kids don't care. Vac metal. Vac metal,
everything.
Yeah. Right oh boy, on. I keep bumping my camera. It's this camera up here. This is literally like stacked on top of 3 moving boxes. I'm sitting in like this metal chair. You have no idea how sad this looks, like outside looking
low tech in. Steve.
I feel like somebody's gonna send me down some lotion to put on my skin. I'm just in this little box down here.
Oh, you sooner or later you're gonna have your room back.
I know we're a ways out. So awkward Silence of the Lambs references done. The last thing that I thought was really interesting, I read it and I posted about it on the Facebook group. Michael Bay says he should have stopped at 3 Transformers.
Everybody said he should have stopped after the first one, but hey.
I agree. But he got into it for the money. They begged him to come back. But it's nice that he's actually admitting that, he completely cashed out and sold out. He didn't care about the story. It was just about the visual effects.
Well, thanks for admitting it, but it's a little too late. I mean, you've already made them, so.
Yeah, and on one side you've got this really bad movie, but it was popular and made a whole bunch of money, and a bunch of toys were possible because of it. But on the other side, you have no semblance of what made Transformers so special. So, hearing him admit it, you got to look at those movies and can't be proud of what you produced from like a story and character perspective. Now, I loved Pain and Gain, but that really played to his strong suits where, in his mind, he's like a South Park character. Like his idea of normal and what people do is like amped up to 15.
Yeah.
So, I
appreciate the interest that it brought to the brand, right? I mean, it kind of,
we needed it. We needed it.
And I recognize that, what he did by bringing all the new interest towards it was something to help kind of keep things going, which is what we always like, right? We want to see it keep going. And every one of our franchises have, they've redeveloped, they've redone things over and over and over again. And so this is just one of the iterations that we're going to look back on and go, oh, that was weird. And then, kind of go forward from there.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we're sort of on the outside of that cycle. I mean, Bumblebee sort of flushed the toilet on most of it. So, we had a few little Klingons left from the Bay Area, like, how visceral some of the violence of the robot on robot was. It was still, they were still treated somewhat inhumanely, even though they're fighting and it's war. They're people too. Like a normal person doesn't try to cleave another person in half if they're fighting them.
Well, I don't know. I've never been
shoot them with a gun or whatever.
Combat where it required me to have a sword to cleave somebody. So I don't know. I haven't been in that situation yet.
Me either. I don't really carry my Highlander katana with me. I feel like maybe if I did it work, I might get taken a little bit more seriously. I don't know how much to discount this customer. I think you should discount it half off.
Do your best, or do you do your worst Christopher Lambert laugh?
Let me tell you about how I'm laughing. That's not my worst.
Christopher Lambert.
That's my only one.
God,
That's the only
the
thing
only movie
do.
I liked him in was Highlander. Everything else, my God, that guy was not a good actor.
I love Christopher Lambert. He's one of my favorite crap movie actors. I love him.
he's fun to watch, but man, oh man.
Well, and you know, when he's a leading man, there's always some very attractive woman in his movies, and he's so ugly. He's like Franken French. Forehead, you know, and I like the eyebrows way down here. Oh, everybody knows that I'm a Frenchman. They think it's very sexy.
The worst casting for Christopher Lambert was by far Mortal Kombat. I mean,
everybody loved him in Mortal Kombat. I thought it was weird.
It was not Raiden.
Well, that's what happens when New Line Cinema, you know, inks him to like a 17 movie deal.
I got to throw him into everything.
Chris, are you interested in playing a Thunder God? Whatever. It doesn't matter as long as it pays.
Do I get paid? I can make a house payment this month.
Yeah. So, yes, Christopher Lambert notwithstanding.
Yeah.
That's about what I had for the things that had kind of caught my eye in the news. You know, I feel like the last news cycle, there was a lot of things that were popping and happening, and we had these collectors cons. I did see that New York Toy Fair is looking to stage a comeback. Really? So that would be kind of cool. But all these companies have done a really good job of doing like an independent toy fair thing where they do these releases over 2 or 3 days. So maybe not wholesale necessary anymore to have these big announcements at the shows, but that's what I'm used to seeing. You know, you got New York Toy Fair, San Diego Comic Con, BotCon, when you know, when these huge like chunks of announcements were coming.
Yeah, I mean, with the way things have changed, I mean, we're definitely seeing a shift in how companies are putting out their product and releasing news. So it would be interesting to see if the New York Toy Fair probably stays called the New York Toy Fair, but maybe we'll have more online things and more video type stuff rather than in-person releases.
Yeah, and this has actually been a really golden opportunity for companies like Hasbro and Mattel to reach out directly to the fans, you know, through Mattel Creations to a very lesser extent. But Hasbro Pulse with all of these like Fan First Fridays and everything, that's big time. Normally they did not have an avenue direct to like the us collectors. You know, the big announcements would come at the toy fairs and BotCon and, you know, JoeCon and that type of stuff. But now I think they've done themselves a huge favor in some of the outreach that they've made to the old guys that can't stop buying their plastic crack.
As long as they look at some of the comments, and you know, some comments that don't take too seriously, but as long as they look at some of the more, you know, more level-headed, level-keeled kind of comments, and they take those kind of feedback seriously, because there's some there's some good feedback that they give during those live releases. And I've seen some of them. You know, some of them are hogwash, they're no good, but then other ones are like, oh well, did they fix the wrist movements on the Baroness figure, or did they fix the things like that? And you know, those are things that they should take into consideration, because the collectors are the ones that are giving you this feedback.
Yeah. Should
not
we release
the scalpers,
Galvatron?
not the people who are buying and selling them. Who cares about those guys? It's the real collectors that are looking at your product, handling your product, and then going, hey, you know what would make this better? X, Y, and Z. And so I hope that they take those.
Case in point would be the Legacy Galvatron.
Yeah. Right.
That re-release is coming in clean colors. Now I know it's economical for them to just take an existing, you know, get more mileage out of some tooling like that. But I mean, they could have just put it back and had all the paint masks and decos that they had previously, just jammed in a new box like what they did with Blaster. Thankfully, they're doing that with Blaster, because I don't think enough people got that figure. Yeah. When it hit for Earthrise.
Hopefully they'll do that, release more skids. I hope skids isn't going to be like one of these hard to find ones.
I don't think it will be. You know, Secret Target came through with that initial wave, so I don't think he'll be tough to find. I'll be out there and grab another one for you. But you know that Galvatron is just one little way that this fan outreach has created a positive reaction from Hasbro. So it's really neat. And you know, some of the people that present, they don't feel like they're as connected as they let on. You know, to the brands. I mean, they just work there, but it's still pretty cool. I love that Hasbro has done that. And that direct to fans website with, you know, standard retail pricing. It's been a really really big blessing to the fandom to have that.
Yeah, I have to give, you know, a lot of respect to the GI Joe team at Hasbro this for who when they've, you know, started releasing all of these new classifieds and things like that. I love watching their Hasbro Pulse Fan First Fridays, because you know when they were showing stuff off and stuff, they were actually pretty excited about it. And the guys who were and I forgot the lady's name, but she was really, she was, you know, knowledgeable about the figure that was being released. And the guy who was like, yeah, we did this and we noticed that on the old figure this was hair, so we decided to throw that in on this one. And it's like, you know, they really are paying attention to what makes the characters and the toys themselves great. And so we as collectors get to relish in that. We get to
I mean, right now nothing could go more right for GI Joe.
I agree.
They're amping up supply. You know, they're getting more of those figures out there, and that sort of push away from, you know, future modern back to classic look has just been a gigantic hit. And they showed some official, like, in package ready to go images of the Python Patrol bat and the Outback figure. Not my thing, but you know, when that regular Outback comes, I mean, that's like one of the most obscure characters people have. I mean, he's kind of like gone up on the secondary market recently. And I don't know if it's because he looks like Chuck Norris or because people have just decided that they wanted to collect that figure, but high demand. And that sculpt is just like outstanding. I mean, you couldn't have made a better figure.
In a lot of different figures. You know, Big Brawler for one, when in the 2000 release of the Joes, when they came in the 2-packs. Same body, same legs, same everything. They just did a new sculpt for him with a bigger head, but
weird looking head. His head looked like Mr. Peanut with like a chin strap beard sculpted onto it.
The very dark chiseled beard. But
and he just had this look like, you know, some of the Joes, they're like, they look tough. That figure, Big Brawler, was just like, I'm badass.
I'm good too, right?
What a stupid name too, Big Brawler. They didn't like that guy.
Well, you know, not everyone could be a winner in GI Joe.
Yeah, we covered that. We're looking at you, Psych Out.
Psych Out.
Scoop, Lightfoot,
worthless
amongst 1,000 others. But luckily, it's more flowers than weeds.
If I didn't have this, you know, completionist attitude, I probably would have left those suckers behind.
Yeah.
But I got them complete. They're in my box, never coming out.
Yeah. You want to do some show and tell?
Well, I think you've got my show and tell for this week.
I have Doug's show and tell. Yes, I do. Thank you. This comes to us in part of Secret Target.
Love you,
Secret Walmart hasn't quite produced yet, but Secret Walmart's getting ready. It's showing a lot of potential. So Secret Target.
All right, what do we got for the first one?
Okay, so I'm Doug now. Whoa, look at my mosquito. Isn't that awesome?
I love him.
I know. It just looks so great from 300 miles away.
Look at that big old head.
Yeah. Strange, crunchy Cheeto accessories that he comes with there.
I love it. Chest pumps. Yeah.
It doesn't tell you what's in his chest.
Just like
and this isn't like pump like. So when I feel like I'm got the pump, it feels like I'm having an orgasm, like pumping iron. No, just pumps some mysterious red liquid that we won't call blood for reasons of terrorizing kids that need safe spaces.
I'm not going to look at those as anything other than Cheetos now. Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome. It reminds me of that villain from Crystar.
Oh, Moltar, yeah.
Yeah, he might as well have just been called Cheetar. He looks delicious. So, anyways, Doug got Mosquitor.
Woo.
I know. And now here's a simultaneous get for both Doug and Steve. Got to do this in a pair.
All right, here we go. Oh, look at that. Okay, so it says Silver Streak, but that's Blue Streak.
It is. So
It's
this
Blue
is Diaclone Colors Blue Streak. And
so the Silver Streak I have is gonna be silver, or the Blue Streak I have that he's gonna be. I'm gonna switch the names. This is Blue Streak. That one's Silver Streak.
Yeah. So this figure matches the original box art and the original prototype, or not.
Very
I
cool.
shouldn't say prototype, but the original toy that was coming over as Blue Streak. If you ever wondered why your Blue Streak was silver, well, it could have been a cost cutting measure. Who knows? But
Who knows? But look, I mean, he's beautiful.
cool
I love
figure.
that mold too, by the way. I love this, the smoke screen and the prowl and the Silver Streak ones of those. So they're great. Oh, and the other one, but Barricade came out in that same mold. So
Yeah. So it's extra mileage, but it's an extra special and cool character. I was so psyched when I saw this. And to walk in there and see a half dozen on the shelf, they have been picked. So I know that there's some other collector that knows about Secret Target, but what he doesn't know is that I work like 100 feet from this Target.
you
I
need to
can
get a
literally
guy on
be
the
there
inside and
at
let
any
give you a
point.
call. Hey, we're restocking. I'll be right over. Seriously. Whoop.
So the only person I'm worried about getting over there and getting my stuff that I deserve to have is effing Bryson, because he's the only guy I know that could be in 15 places at once in the Tri-Cities and in Mount Vernon, and scoop all the stuff before anybody else gets there.
Ninja skills, Bryson. We love you, Bryson.
Yeah, we do. Just stay the F out of Mount Vernon.
Don't you just
This is
told
my
him where the
territory.
secret one was. Way to go, Steve. I'm gonna have to bleep that in post.
Yeah, I know. We'll take it out in post, and like the tens and tens of people watching will never know where Secret Target and Secret Walmart are.
Oh,
They're all mine. I deserve them.
those are good. I can't wait to see that guy in person. Awesome find.
Yeah. For the Inland Northwest, I'm sure we'll meet up at some point there, and I'll get you the figures. Or if you're just too hot to trot for the next month, I'll figure out a way to get them down. But I really want to find some of those other ones if I'm going to send a box to make it worth a while.
I can. I'm patient. This is a patient hobby. So
yeah. So thus concludes show and tell. I think pretty soon I'm going to have some pretty rad stuff to show. It's just it's coming from China, so we'll see how long it takes.
And as a side note, we don't care if it comes from China. We're just happy to get it.
Yeah, Autobots aren't communists. That's fine.
Well, and this is what I think is funny. So everybody that's like, and we'll talk about this real quick, and then we'll get into the topic. But so
Sure.
you're like, oh, don't buy the knockoff stuff from China. Well, where do you think the stuff that you buy comes from anyway? Do you think we make that stuff here in America? No, it comes from China.
Don't buy the China KOs, which are the original figures in very, very close to original packaging, doing everything that the collectors want them to be doing to produce the figures. Don't buy those guys.
Don't buy that.
Well, I buy the Walmart reissues, the G1 reissues. They just don't make enough of them.
Yeah.
So, get me some of these cool ones that I've got coming. Get me more Autobot cars. I know it's an issue with the tooling degrading, but obviously somebody's got tooling or figured out a way to do it.
Yeah.
Because there's just boatloads of super awesome Chinese reissues, and they're very high quality.
Yeah.
So
and for everyone that you you get kind of taken on, the ones that do come through look really, really good. And if you buy it through like eBay, well, you get your money back, right? So let's say you do get scammed or something, you get sent something that you weren't supposed to get sent, you get your money back. It's not like it's a loss.
Yeah, and in this case, these G1 reissues, this is not hurting Hasbro. It's not hurting them in the slightest. They have no plans to make them for whatever reason. Hasbro still gets a crap ton of my money for bunches of other great products that they make. But this is a spot where you got collectors that want this. And I mean, China's responsible for my retail display. You know, China is responsible for some of the stuff on that retail display.
Yes, very much so. And
they look awesome.
And do I care?
No.
No.
No. And I'll buy the stuff when it comes to Walmart when they do the reissue, unless it's a freaking $50 Optimus Prime without a trailer.
With no trailer. What was that about? Yeah. That was like when we talk about, you know, things that we were just like WTF moments when you were sitting at the desk going, how can we do this? Oh, let's release Optimus Prime, but nobody wants his trailer. Let's not do that. But we'll give it to him for $50. What?
Yeah, and you know what? I paid $50 for a Soundwave reissue, happily. But you know, because
it was the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah, but that Optimus Prime, that half an Optimus Prime for like full Optimus Prime money, and wasn't that over 50, like $54.99 or something like that?
It was not worth the money.
And you could get this high quality knockoff for 40 shipped.
Mine was 32.
Yeah. That's the one exception that I've ever made, that I did not buy the reissue. I bought the reissue Starscream and Soundwave. I didn't buy Devastator because I wanted it displayed a little bit differently than that gift set. But even that gift set looked awesome. And I
missed out on that one. I didn't get a chance to get that one, or else I would have. But you know who makes a really good Devastator set?
China. Yeah, I know. I bought the single carded Devastator figure that they came up with. But you know, it's maybe except for that one giant misstep by Hasbro trying to pawn half a figure off for twice the price. Everything else, I'm such a happy Hasbro customer. I buy so much of their product. So,
well, yeah, as you can see, so much.
Yeah, I know.
Not complaining too much. What we have to complain about really is not much to complain about these days. So
no, and we're old, so just deal with it.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll find reasons to complain about something, I'm sure.
Yeah. So our topic today is kind of cool. It was a great idea that you had, and it's ugly figures basically. So why don't you fill us in?
Okay. So what I was thinking of, you know, as kids, we've all played. We've had figures from all kinds of directions, right? From all different lines and franchises, and you played with them and you loved them. But you know, there were some ones that you looked at and went, this doesn't look anything like the guy on the movie.
Yeah.
Or this doesn't, you know, I don't get why does Duke's face look like this or something like that, right? So I was thinking about like, what if we could sit and like kind of come up with some ones that we were like, you know, WTF sculpts, kind of like, what were they thinking, or why did they even approve that this one got out?
What were they snorting?
What were they snorting? Well, you know, 80s were a good time for everybody. Let's just
yeah.
But do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Well, I do have one that was always very, very difficult for me to get on board with. Actually, I got another one I want to bring up, but my number one, what the hell were they thinking? Bob the Goon, 89 Batman.
That was on my list.
He's got like one short leg.
Hold on.
He can't even stand up straight.
Let's show these people what we're talking about. Okay.
Wow, look at that amazing face sculpt.
Look, it looks just like him.
Dude, that is the absolute worst figure. I mean, at least he can kind of hold his knife so Batman can kick the shit out of him.
And his gun is like,
yeah,
but his face is,
and he can't stand.
No,
the leg is screwed up. So even other figures with kicking action. I mean, let's think about like the Chuck Norris Karate Commandos. Even that one that has the weird push in, like ankle to calf type of thing to activate some other action feature, he can still stand up at least.
Yeah.
Bob the Goon, it's literally like
you have to lean him against
shorter.
The wall.
Yeah. Or just put him on the ground. I mean, he's going to be there anyways.
He's going to end up
either
there.
Joker kills him or Batman whips his ass. But
yeah, and you know, okay, so these came out. So these were Kenner, right? Batman was Kenner?
Toy Biz.
Batman was Toy Biz. Okay, Batman was
Yes. So the reason you're thinking Kenner is because Toy Biz absolutely 100% without a doubt knocked off the superpowers from Kenner.
Okay.
I mean, those sculpts, when you look at those Toy Biz DC superheroes, they are just like dead to rights knockoffs of superpowers.
Oh man.
Some of them don't have the same actions, like that leg squeeze thing. But
are their arms all?
Yeah, they look the same. I mean, they're like almost down to the details. Like I swear to God, it's almost like they made casts of them, and then came up with these figures. The Batman that's on the back of the '89 Batman figure, that package, that is a Kenner figure that they mocked up to look like Batman.
Oh my goodness! Wow,
that's a superpowers. Yeah,
the toy business, crazy.
Oh God, and those are all bad. I mean, you can look at Toy Biz and they're just like bastardized. Like the tooling wore out 10 years ago, and they still produce new figures, superpowers figures. So there was all kinds of wonky shit happening with that line. But Bob Lagoon is far and away the worst.
But I think Bob's face doesn't look anything remotely close to the actor who played him.
Not even. And,
all right, so mine is okay. So everybody loves Star Wars, right? Everybody loves Star Wars action figures. I mean, you think, what could go wrong, right? I mean, your Star Wars figures, you're practically printing money. Well, that's not true, because there's one figure at the top of my list of weird sculpts, and that's monkey face Leia from Power of the Force.
Ooh. Oh.
So,
yeah,
to show our viewers at home what I'm talking about. Is that Carrie Fisher?
Look at those eyebrows.
Who is that?
Do you know who that looks like? Doug, you know who that looks like? Who? A stunt double from Spaceballs. You know what I mean?
Beard and everything.
Yeah. So have you ever seen that movie Dodgeball?
Yes.
That looks like Anaxa Kagavinovich Konvinovinsky or whatever her name was.
Yeah. The Russian Leia.
Yeah.
Siberian.
You know, the one that was like the ringer that they brought in from the Russian team that was all roided up, and she had the unibrow. Oksana Vinovinsky or something was her name. You know, so everything about like that first line of releases from Power of the Force 2, everybody's on roids, even the chicks.
Oh yeah. And all of their faces are not accurate, let's put it this way. And I could have chose any single one of them to be this, but I think hers is probably the worst out of the entire line. What
happened when they were sculpting that line? Did they run out of time and just put cinnamon buns on Han Solo's head, or what?
Okay, they were able to do some pretty good sculpts by this time in other figure lines. Okay, not perfect.
Well,
but
you know,
getting better
as that line evolved. Like even into Wave 2, Wave 3, and Wave 4, they got so much better.
They did.
That initial offering though, with the weird stances and
the large chests and
Luke
abs,
looking like a freaking Khan with a big fake man tits sticking out there. I do not
remember Luke Skywalker looking like that.
Yeah. Luke Skywalker, I'm here to rescue you. Take my hand.
Leia gets up. I can rescue myself. Let's go.
Let's go, Luke. We've got to get to the Virginium Falcon or whatever it's called. Let's go. Get to the chopper.
Now I'm picturing like a bad edit of like that whole scene, but Arnold Schwarzenegger's face on every single character.
They deep fake it.
Gosh.
And dub the voiceover.
I can see it now. Why isn't that on YouTube?
Oh. No reward is with this.
You came in that thing?
Yeah.
You're braver than I thought.
Somebody get this walking carpet out of my way.
Get to the Falcon.
Yeah. Use the Force, Luke. Do it.
Oh, Yeah, so you can see how a figure like this can just pretty much degrade any conversation you have. So yeah, that's one of mine. Monkey face Leia. She's my number
Ooh,
one.
boy, that was a sharp one.
It was a good
I,
one.
I, I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking a little bit predating that. And I got to say, uh, all of the Dick Tracy figures from Playmates, they had these comically large heads, and Dick Tracy did not come with a yellow trench coat, which is like the trademark Dick Tracy thing. Those figures, and you know that the faces were somewhat reasonable, but it's almost like they took the head from the 2-Up and put that on the 5-inch figure's body. You know what I mean? You've seen the
Yeah.
2-Ups, right?
Oh,
They're
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
gigantic, like big figures, the prototypes, and they're like, you know what would make this line really shine is if we put heads on there that look like Mr. Potato Head.
The kids want to be
So-
able to see their features. Okay, but the features you gave us.
I just wanted Dick Tracy to be able to walk through a door and not get wedged in there by his comically large head. He looks like Mr. Mackey from South Park. Okay.
Yeah, that was I did not collect that line. The movie, I'm gonna be honest, the movie barely interested me. I was not like a Madonna fan or anything like that. So, and Dick Tracy was, they were trying to cash in on the comic book kind of thing that Batman
Yeah.
was going for that at that time. And they were like, hey, how dark can we make another comic character? Oh, Dick Tracy. Yeah, he deserves that. And
It
out
was
of all
probably
of the comic book heroes you came up with to do that with, you're like, yeah, let's do it with Dick Tracy.
he was probably a very inexpensive IP.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
But yeah, those figures, and you know, I'm torn because it brings back good memories for me when I was a kid. I remember liking the movie when I was younger, and god dang, Bryson's got a bunch of them on card, and they look awesome.
Oh, I
And
know.
it
Yeah.
makes me want them. But you see the size of those heads, and you're like, man, this is bad even by like 80s sculpting standards.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there are some hit and misses in all the lines, and it makes you kind of wonder, who, you know, the sculptors that they had at that time, like, where were they coming from? What was their, you know, their whole idea behind what they were trying to do or anything like that? And some figures in the line you can look at and say, okay, those are pretty good in any line, and then you look at another one and go, how did you go so horribly wrong on this?
And you know, even GI Joe had
Oh, well,
some
they're on my
oversized
list.
heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some of them that were a little bit weird looking in GI Joe, but Dick Tracy just took that large head thing before big head was a thing and bobbleheads and like made it a thing back then.
Yeah, I've never been a big head figure fan or overly sized feet or hands thing. You know, I mean, I get what they're trying to say, you know, great for small hands to move and stuff like that, but I was never into that. I always liked it when my figures or my things looked at least like how they were supposed to look, because
Yeah.
I felt that fueled my imagination more than a comically designed figure.
Yeah. 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 And I mean, they didn't even fit in with Ninja Turtles very well.
And that's saying a lot because wow, Ninja Turtles.
That's some cash grabs in there.
Yeah. Okay, so mine. We'll go with
yeah. What do you got there?
We'll go with mine. So, you know, GI Joe. You brought up GI Joe. So, and everybody loves GI Joe, and rightfully so. They should. It's the figure that brought action figures to the forefront, coined the term action figure. But let's be real. Those first wave of GI Joes, they were very how do we say? I don't know, androgynous or very just they
Dude,
were
they all looked like a cross between Clarence Boddicker from RoboCop and Agent Smith.
yeah,
That's
but
they're bad.
very, you know, very smooth features, very like, you know, they have two eyes, they have a nose, they have a mouth, we can see that, but beyond that, well, yeah, I can tell this is a human head.
Yeah, dude, Grunt's an ugly figure.
He's an ugly figure.
He
I always
is like one
compared
of the
Grunt to young Michael Ironside.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my God, it was a three-way with
Yeah.
Clarence Boddicker, Michael Ironside, and Agent Smith.
Every time I look at Grunt, I'm like, that's a young Michael Ironside, and that's a damn ugly dude.
Yeah, no wonder the freaking guy was under makeup for most of the 80s.
Loved his voice, but man, but yeah.
Oh, you mean you're not overwhelmed with Starship Troopers where he just like chews that line up? They sucked out his brain.
Come on. Michael Ironside's best role was in Total Recall, I think. So
Oh, you didn't like Highlander 2?
nobody talks about Highlander 2, Steve. That's
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
No. Nobody brings that up. Nobody that doesn't even work its way in the everyday civilized conversation. Why would you do that?
Even when they made the apology version that got rid of the aliens from a different planet, it was still like a horribly crap movie.
I had a friend when I went back when I was at the lab before, and we made fun of Highlander 2 pretty much every chance we could get. And that was the butt of a lot of jokes. And if something could go bad, if something was bad, we would compare it. Well, is it Highlander 2 bad? And nothing ever really got to Highlander 2 bad status.
And I mean, we are not leaving out films such as Hell Comes to Frogger Town. Probably a better movie than Highlander 2. With Roddy Piper.
Let's just say it doesn't take much to be a better movie than Highlander 2. It really doesn't.
Yeah, you're right. That is a hellaciously ugly face sculpt.
Well, I mean, and
I mean,
as much as I love
how many reuses
G.I. Joe line. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just wondering because you had that head on Grunt. Who else had that super ugly face? Was it just Grunt?
No, it was.
Because I know he had Short Fuse
and Grand Slam, and I think Zap.
Grand Slam had that head.
Yeah, Grand Slam had that head, and I think Zap did. In fact, hold on,
dude. Grand Slam. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so let's see. We have Grunt, Zap, and Grand Slam. Nope. That's who has it.
Too bad. Grand Slam's a cool looking figure.
Yeah, Slam and Grand Slam. They both had the same head.
So I got one for you.
Go for
it. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Okay, but which figure?
I didn't recall them having two of them. It was Sheriff of Nottingham.
It was okay. You're talking about just the sheriff himself.
Just the sheriff, because the Costner head actually looked pretty good in that line, and so did the Friar Tuck, and even Sala looked pretty good.
The Friar Tuck was just a reused Gamorrean guard body, though. You know that?
And their whole Robin Hood's tree forts was the Ewok village.
Yeah. Except they put like leaves on the top, and that was it.
Something. And I think they even reused an Ewok like launcher or trebuchet or something that there was some other vehicle reuse, I think, in there from Star Wars. But
they're just like, hey, this looks medieval. Let's throw that in there.
Or looks like something that goes with it. The kids won't notice.
We know.
Boy, that Sheriff of Nottingham is one of the absolute most inaccurate sculpts ever done of a figure in history. And I don't know if it's because they didn't have the actor worked out for it.
Is that Kenner?
I mean? And they just came up. That's Kenner.
Kenner?
Yeah. Yeah, you gonna find it?
I am. I'm gonna see how ugly this dude is.
Oh, you gotta see it. He looks nothing like his counterpart. You look at that guy's face and you do not hear, "Give me back my detonators, McLean."
Look at that face. It looks like he's like he's popping one out and he just can't.
Look at that afro. He had like long stringy hair in the movie. It's like what did they borrow the hair from a Dr. J action figure or something?
I don't know, but that was just horrible. And what's up with his armor? Like what? I don't remember him looking like that.
He had a cape, so it kind of covered a lot of it. But Oh boy.
All right, hold on. Let's go back to my search results here and see if we can find a.
Just look at the carded figure next to
Here we go.
yeah. Looks
Okay.
the same to me.
Yeah, it's a spitting image.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Look at that armor versus the versus
don't
what
look
he
right.
wore in the movie. You're right, 100%.
That don't look right.
So I'm wondering if when these figures went into development, they didn't have that role hammered out, or they had to switch actors or something. Because
Well,
to get
so
Costner right,
with Robin
and
Hood,
to
we
be
know
that
that they
bad.
took old figures that they've had before, retooled them a little bit, repainted, and then shoved them back and shoved them out.
That's a pretty bad one.
So I'm wondering if this figure is kind of just like the Gamorrean Guard Friar Tuck. If this body came from somewhere else and they just had it in another line, and they're like, yeah, this is close. Let's go.
Yeah, this is Friar Tuck's cousin, Friar What the F.
That's a good one. That is a good one. I have to agree that face was not good. Not good. He looked like he was constipated or something. Like,
yeah, it looked really bad. I mean, there's no way that figure looks like it belongs with the rest of them.
well, is he screaming "Oh face Duke" bad though?
At least that looked like the Duke head sculpt with the tragically decided expression. I don't know what you would call that. It's freaking prostate exam Duke. I don't know.
Woo!
I mean, that was at least the likeness is still Duke. It's just a tragic facial expression. That Sheriff of Nottingham figure is 1000% who the crack came up with this. So
I got one more.
You got another one?
I got one more. I'm going to share it first. All right. So this is from we were talking about DC, right? We're talking about old Batman, 89 Batman.
Uh-huh.
Well, Batman and Robin did not have any better.
Oh boy. Wow.
Does that look like Chris O'Donnell? I mean, Chris O'Donnell is pretty, vanilla looking guy as it is, like no real standout features, but wow. Look at this.
No, you know who that looks like? It looks like Chris Pine.
It's more Chris Piney than Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah, but that is a tragic looking figure right there. That is 100% crap.
Also, I doubt that Chris O'Donnell, even no matter how in shape he was for that movie, was not this in shape.
I can almost forgive like tragic body proportions, like comically misproportional biceps and stuff. But that is a horrible looking figure. But it looks like Chris Pine.
Yeah, they got the wrong Chris.
Yeah. I mean, either way, that figure or Chris Pine sort of looks like he should be on a shorter, more specialer bus. It's a bad figure.
It is a bad figure. But, most of the figures from the DC lines, let's face it, they weren't that great. They weren't good. I mean, even the Batman.
I don't know. They were kind of going.
Batman. Even the Batman himself, they had to come out with another head.
3 different versions.
Yeah.
3 different head sculpts that they went through to get that right. One of them was like, I'm Batman. And then you had one with a more squared up, more squared up jaw, and then one that had like these bigger, like Keaton looking lips.
They still didn't get it right, and the head was still too big for the body, no matter which way they went.
Yeah, I do remember loving the figure though. I like that he had knee articulation, so he could sit down in the Batmobile effectively. But overall, I mean, you had Batman that was a reasonably acceptable figure, and then what Toy Biz did to the rest of that line was just, I mean, the only appropriate word is rape, because that's how superpowers had to feel when they saw that DC superheroes. And I mean, even the Joker, aside from the head sculpt, he was like almost completely lifted from Superpowers Joker.
He didn't look anything like Jack Nicholson Joker.
Not at all. And there were a couple different versions of the figure too, and neither of them ended up Well, maybe down the line, maybe it was in Batman Returns that they had one that was a little bit more Nicholson-like,
Hmm.
but not in that initial run.
No.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So
Past your
another
bedtime?
one that's kind of, oh, go ahead.
It says it past your bedtime. Are we getting
A
that old?
little bit tired, no biggie. So another one that came to mind, we love Masters of the Universe,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I love them. I don't have a lot of complaints about those figures. They're exactly what they were supposed to be when they were made. But I gotta say, you had some really good like Remco knockoffs. Like they did Legend of the Lost Warlord, and there were a few other lines, and then they reused those bodies for the AWA wrestling figures.
Yep.
But there was a line called Warrior Beasts. There's like the knockoff of the knockoff, and I don't remember the name of the company that made them, but they are so heinously bad looking and bad sculpted. You should check those out. I mean, the legs are even squattier than Masters or the Remco figures, and they had these just horrible like arm sculpting. Their shoulders looked like tubes.
These guys.
Oh, this is not so bad. I meant, you know what it was? It's Galaxy Warriors.
Galaxy Warriors.
I think it's Galaxy Warriors, not Warrior Beasts.
All right, hold on. We're gonna find these guys. I'm gonna see what you're talking about. Galaxy Warriors.
Yeah, type that in and see what pops up, because there was a bunch of strange looking characters, like a gray guy with a little top knot thing that was sticking out. And I just, because those Warrior Beasts, those are actually fairly good He-Man knockoffs if you look at them like proportions wise.
All right, I can't find a good size paste or picture out there on the internet, but we don't really need a good size one. We just need one that shows what they are. Is this is Galaxy Warriors?
That's not what I was looking for. It's
what came up.
okay. You can we can move on, because those
right.
were all like that's the Remco like based figures. There was another subline of figures that came out, and they were just the sculpting was so comically bad, and they were knockoffs of knockoffs.
Oh boy.
So
Those
maybe that was
knockoffs and knockoffs.
epic fail to bring those up. I have a bonus one since we couldn't find the ones I was thinking of.
Yeah.
How about some of the Lord of the Rings Toy Biz figures, particularly Aragorn, whose face looked like he was sculpted made of melted wax?
Yeah, actually, all of those figures were very odd. They were all odd figures. That whole line.
Well, you had some that were like really good, and then you had others where the paint and the sculpting was just way off base. And I want to say there was an Aragorn from when they were up on top of that hill and they were fighting the ring wraiths off, because I believe it came with a torch.
I have,
and
that
that's
figure.
that's like unrecognizable as Aragorn from that movie. It's so bad.
I have a lot of those figures, and they're in a box, and they're in a box for a reason, because they're just not displayable. I just can't get behind them. I mean, I thought, when Lord of the Rings came out, it was a great movie, a great new genre that people can kind of get into and get behind. And the toys, when they first started coming out, they were in cool packaging, they were large figures, and they were really kind of neat. But then once you got them out and you started looking at them, you're like, these are not good.
It was hit and miss. And they had things like that, those soft accessories like the sheaths and the swords that were really detailed, and they went into the sheath. And I thought that they knocked it out of the park for a lot of the body sculpting, but some of the head sculpts, boy, I just don't know how they made it onto a finished figure. And the paint deco was like this super uneven paint wash. So what was supposed to be like 5 o'clock shadow or a scraggly beard, you have like these big wads of just pure brown and then translucent brown. So he looked like he had alopecia.
Well, you talk about face sculpts for that line. Let's talk about the one where there was absolutely no face sculpt, none whatsoever. The ring wraith. No head. There was no head on that figure. Nothing. It was, there was nothing. So it was like a cowl, and it was empty. It was, you could stick your finger right through there. No head, no nothing. Not even like a blank, like and like a head to keep it kind of you could push the hood in and it would just pop back up.
Oh, that reminds me. You're not a wrestling guy, but old San Francisco toy makers WCW figures, hot garbage, terrible figures. They had this red button under their arm that looked like a boil, and you push on it, and the figure would literally vibrate. Really?
Push the skin tag and all shake.
It was this big, like, red half round. It looked like a boil that needed to be expressed. So you push on it and then they just vibrate. They don't talk. They don't make a sound effect. Mommy, why are you playing with my action figures?
Oh, Steve.
Mommy really likes Hollywood Hogan.
Really likes him.
Yeah, that was nothing you were into, but if anybody out there is into wrestling, those old San Francisco toy makers, and I got to tell you, I know a lot of people love the Jax wrestling figures. They were so bad. Toy Biz took over and they knocked it out of the park with their WCW figures, but at that time they were up against Jax Pacific. And those figures are really rubbery, and they had this mechanism in the arms and legs where you could bend their arm and it would click. So it was supposed to simulate like bones breaking.
Oh, no way, really?
But it was like literally the same body type for every wrestler. Every wrestler. It was just a new head sculpt. If you were lucky, you got different boots, but there was a dark age for wrestling figures, and it was not AWA Remco. It was most definitely old San Francisco toy makers and Jax Pacific. And even when Jax got its stuff together, they still weren't great, but that's not anything that you can really empathize with. I collected some of them. I will say that I do have a vibrating Hollywood Hogan.
You actually admitted to that. All right.
I do, because I'm kind of a, like, I got to have Hulk Hogan figures.
Like your He-Man and your Optimus, you just got to have a Hulk.
I have to. Yeah, like, yeah. I need it.
You need it. Yeah, I could never get into wrestling figures. All the ones I seen all look really goofy anyway. I mean, it was a goofy line to begin with. Really, the only one I collected was the big rubber Hulk Hogan, right?
Yeah, even the LJNs were good figures.
When he was like that.
Yeah, this was my jam right there, the Hasbros. Loved them. They had the built-in action features.
I could not get behind them. I loved wrestling. I just couldn't get behind wrestling figures. I don't know why.
Well, you got any more freak show figures?
Oh, I'm sure if I actually had time to sit down and think about it, I could come up with a whole spew of them. But those ones were the top ones at the top of my list, I think. If you really wanted to think about it, one that always kind of I thought was funny was okay, so the original Man-at-Arms. Right.
Yeah. It looks like Ernest Borgnine.
Well, see, I was going to say, you ever see WKRP in Cincinnati?
That was not on my viewing list when I was a kid. I was A-team, but WKRP was probably too much not action for me.
There was a guy on that. I don't even know what his name was, but I remember looking at the action figure of Man-at-Arms when I first got him, and I'm like, he looks like that guy from that WKRP show. Yeah. I mean, I'll have to pull it up and show you one of these days. Like, when you look at Man-at-Arms and you look at the original Man-at-Arms, not like the re-release where he's got the mustache or anything, like the original Man-at-Arms, and then you pull up a picture of this other guy and you're going to be like, holy Doug, you're absolutely right. You were right about Michael Ironside. You're right about this one. Well,
even putting a mustache on that, like, old school head like the Origins did, that is still a derpy looking figure.
It's not a good looking head.
Even with the mustache, like Jack Black and Ernest Borgnine had a love child. That's what he looks like.
And what's even better was the soft rubber head, right? So you could like smush it and his nose would go.
Yeah.
How do you play with Masters of the Universe, Doug? I smashed her.
I push the rubber heads down so that they look ridiculous. I can't say the other R word. It's not acceptable.
And we can make fun of these toys, but at the same time, we can absolutely love them. right? And I love all of them. I love the GI Joes, even with their featureless faces, and I love the Masters of the Universe, even with their soft rubber heads and their weird noses, and I love them all. And they're parts of our childhood that that are just golden moments when you're
Yeah,
playing with them.
and they are. And even though they pushed us to suspend a lot of disbelief with some of these poorly sculpted figures, we still found a way to take them out into the dirt and have those adventures that we always thought they should.
Yep. So I mean, and they did what they were supposed to back then, right? They got you out, they got you moving, they got you to use your imagination, and then that's really what they were for.
That's it. And if it was ugly, you just squinted.
Yeah, or squished it.
Or squished. Yeah, it made it uglier. I'm
Well,
hamming arms.
That's all I've got to share.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty comprehensive. But if anybody else comes up with anything, please do share like your most hideous and deformed and ugly action figures with us. We'd love to see it on the Facebook community, or sharing with the Toy Man 80s, or right here in the comments section, which after like 20 videos, we've had like 6 comments. So awesome.
6 more than I thought we'd get. So that's good.
That is true. Yes.
And the other thing I want to hear is if we ever do get any kind of female viewership, I would like to, I know, crazy, but maybe we might get one. And if we do, like, share some of the toys that you played with. Did they fit any of these categories that we are naming? Like, did you have some wonky faced Barbies, or were there some weird, My Little Ponies or Strawberry Shortcake or something? Like, did they evoke the same kind of feelings and memories and things for us that maybe hopefully they did for you?
When you took it out of the package, did you just say, what the hell just happened?
Why was I so excited to get this? Can I go back to the store and get the one I passed on because this one's hot garbage?
I don't know, though. You look at a lot of those popular girls' toys, and I mean, like She-Ra, there wasn't a lot of like figures that were crap in that line.
No, She-Ra was actually a pretty cool line for a figure.
Yeah, I mean, Bo was kind of a jabroni, but like as muted as he could get, he wasn't He-Man by any stretch.
He wasn't supposed to be He-Man.
In thinking of it, though, I mean, even like you think of Jem, that was one my sister played with. I don't know that there were any bad ones there. So I think the boys just got shortchanged because they assumed that we'd be out there breaking them in the dirt within 15 minutes anyways.
They didn't want to put too much effort into it because, they're selling these by the pound. So it's like, oh, he broke this one, he's going to go get another one. He broke this one, he's going to go get
Yeah, Rainbow Bright looked like Rainbow Bright.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, though, that there's got to be at least 1 or 2 girl toys out there that fit the bill for this. I'm sure there is.
Yeah, squeezed in there somewhere.
Yep. But anyway, yeah, like I said, that's all I got for tonight. So
yeah, me too.
So like always, hopefully we'll run into some of you guys in the toy aisle, unless they're in Steve's secret Target, which we hope we don't see you there.
Yeah, I hope I don't see you until after I get what I want, but yeah, we'll see you there anyways.
But all joking aside, hope we see you guys in the toy aisle.